stuff is aging out fastly, especially with AI. How does AMBA combat that?
Yeah, this is actually a great question. Thanks, Lou. So obsolescence is something that's big with us. I think one of the biggest things is we don't make a single device that we use. That's actually the biggest part about our business strategy. We don't make a single device. The reason being is because, say, for example, we track sleep. Well, we'd have to have 5 different sleep mats because we have different situations. Some residents sleep in a bed, some sleep in recliners. We have folks with air-filled mattresses. I'd have to be an expert at sleep mats and then motion sensors and door sensors and everything. So what we do is go around the world, literally. We look for the best products, whether they were made for senior living or not. Some are just good health and wellness devices that work for a lot of different people. And we actually integrate those in the system. We test them very heavily, and we then actually deploy those. It's still under one dashboard. Residents or families don't have to worry about it. Communities don't have to worry about finding a new device to fix a problem. And if that device becomes obsolete, we'll actually look for better ones, and we're always replacing old ones with newer. So the good thing for our clients is they sign an agreement, and it's a living, breathing system that will always be improving. New devices, new AI features on the back end, everything will continue on.
So, just so everybody can hear me. So from a community standpoint, how does the staff feel when AMBA is implemented? Do they feel a comfort? How do they react?
Yeah. All right, so this is actually very interesting. So when we actually deploy our system, we let it run for 2 weeks, we don't alert them on a single thing, and we come back and use their data to train. And that's one of the first eye-opening moments where we say, hey, we've been looking at your data for 2 weeks. Does anyone know this resident in room 158? Oh yeah, I know her. I've known her for 2 years. Do you know she's up 4 times a night walking around? No, every time I go in there, she's in bed. Yeah, she doesn't sleep very well. I'm like, oh, I have no idea, and I've had behavior problems. There's this huge connection between, I know that resident, actually, no, I really don't. And so the eye-opening part is I can see behind the door and know what's going on. They appreciate it because it gets them to the right room at the right time. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, they can see who's in bed, who's sleeping well. They don't have to worry about those people. They're safe, and then they have time to deal with the people that need it. So it's made them wildly efficient, and the outcomes alone make them happy. Reduction in falls, hospitalizations, even psychotropic drug use. So for them, it's been a big tool.
So let's talk a little bit about the resident rights and the privacy, because that's a hot topic. I mean, I know there's some legislation that's been about it recently. How does AMBA handle that?
Yeah. So on the rights and privacy side, the best part is when I say we don't have any cameras or wearables, it's a little bit of a lie. We do, actually. We have some of the best ones in the industry are integrated into our system. But our core deployment, the one that gets the most outcomes and the most success, actually doesn't use cameras or audio. And that's actually a big thing. Most families think that that's their only solution is a camera. So by using just simple motion, sleep quality in bed, through the mattress itself, and a simple door sensor, we have the ability to track a lot of good clues that don't infringe on people's privacy. So I'm not recording them physically moving around the room. I'm not telling them what is in their room. Hey, look, you got a great camera and it shows the person as a stick figure. That's cool, but you're also recording everything else that's in that person's apartment as well too, and that can be intrusive as well. So to keep privacy and to keep it discreet, we use simple motion, simple pressurized sleep mats, and door sensors that don't record a single thing. And then everything is PHI and HIPAA compliant through all of the racks that we did, both at rest and transit for data, and it's all well protected. So, yeah.
Tracy, you're up to bat.
Okay.
Why, super question, why'd you choose AMBA?
Well, I had been doing a lot of research on a fall detection system for our memory care. And I really just couldn't find anything that had high quality, that was not invasive, like George mentioned, without cameras, without modifying the room, without staff having to carry another device on them. And I just found this system to be just extraordinary. And I happened to be at a conference and sat next to Stu, and he told me all about his technology that he had just brought to the US. And I thought, this is amazing. Now I'm looking at fall prevention, not fall detection. I'm looking at other areas of healthcare monitoring. And it has just been a very valuable tool for our staff. We've had great outcomes thus far. We've only had the system live now since December 2nd, and we've had really, really positive outcomes so far.
How does your staff feel bringing on that technology?
I've found it very resourceful. I do have a couple testimonials from my staff, one being from our director of nursing. She said the safety checks that are required every 2 hours are now being done per policy because staff is accountable. They were able to monitor if they're going in and out of the room and actually checking in our residents the way our policies are done. She says we can now monitor accountability, and Amber provides transparency for actual work being done. Another staff member comment, if residents are restless and are making frequent bathroom trips, it is making nursing aware to check for a urinary tract infection or maybe another acute illness and catching it early on to avoid a hospitalization, which we all know how detrimental that is to the memory care population. They often do not even return to our setting. Another response was quick response time to alert staff when residents are out of bed. This has decreased falls significantly at night since we went live on December 2nd. I can tell you that we had no falls in January.
Wow.
It is really amazing.
That's the first time in a while that's happened, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We've never had that happen. We've always had some falls, but we've had 0 since this is in place. The staff said the best feature, which I found this interesting, is monitoring the residents' sleep patterns. Residents who are wandering at night have decreased drastically because we were able to identify those residents that maybe had disruption in their sleep and do things with their care plan to maybe provide more exercise before bed, or maybe they go to bed at a different time so they sleep better. Maybe it's a medication adjustment. So they found this part of AMBA to be the most resourceful, is monitoring sleep patterns.
Then we've reduced psychotropic drug use as well through the use of the sleep information. So that tracks very well with other communities. So you're doing just what other groups are doing too, which is if I address someone with a behavior problem in the morning before I move to psychotropic drug use, maybe I look at their sleep patterns, do they have a UTI coming on? Maybe something else is going on before we do it. So they're automatically naturally using it that way, which is, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Good.
Are there any changes you're planning on making after adopting AMBA?
Definitely. Number one, revision of care plans, making them more resident-centered. We're able now to identify patterns that we weren't able to know before. Also, really doing a very thorough analyzation, root cause analysis of a fall or a hospitalization. By using this data, we're able to see, could we have prevented it? What can we do different? What can we do different with the care plan? I plan on actually implementing the system in the rest of my facility, our other memory care wing and our assisted living residents, and in our other facility, because that's how valuable I feel the system has been for us.
That's great. That's great. We're going to open it up to any questions out here. If anybody has anything for Tracy or George, go ahead and kind of shout it out if you're ready. If you got anything. We got one. Is that Chrome?
Any feedback from ACA?
We have not had any ACA inspections since we've had it implemented, so I have not received any feedback from them.
And then
at this point.
from our standpoint, no, we have it in plenty of communities in Florida. Because there's no video, no audio, it seems to be very low risk in terms of rules and things like that. Privacy is protected, the devices are discreet, so it doesn't scream, hey, come check me out. And so that's it. There's always a concern, some communities are like, hey, well, what if you tell me and we don't do anything, and then ACA finds out that we didn't do anything about it? Well, the good thing is that can't happen with our system. We escalate the calls, so if we're reaching out to a staff member at 3 a.m. and they don't answer after 5, 6, 7 times, we'll call the DON, we'll call the ED, we'll call Tracy at home as the owner of the community, and literally until someone answers, something's going to happen. Now, I will say that probably only happens once or twice, and then it will stop happening because
I haven't gotten any calls.
And you won't because your team's good. But yeah, if they were to miss it. So the biggest concern people have with ACA and what we do is it's the knowledge of knowing stuff, right? And I always ask, like, well, if you know or don't know, can you still get sued? Like, well, yeah, we'll still get sued if I did not know. I can't just say, well, I didn't know, so I'm fine. Like, it doesn't work that way. You might be better off one way or the other. But most are like, no, I would rather now address it so it doesn't even become that situation. And now with this hierarchy in place, it doesn't get missed actually. So we make sure that we're on top of it. So that's usually the only like legal or liability concern that most people have. They want to see what's behind the door. I will say the one thing that, I didn't mention this, but I think that's really important. There's a disconnect when a family brings mom to the community. They say, mom falls all the time, and she's coming here, and she's not gonna fall anymore. I'll pay you my bunch of dollars that I pay you every month, and everything's fine, right? No, that's not at all what's gonna happen. And then when mom does fall, now there's this disconnect between my expectation, what happened, now why am I paying this? I thought I brought her here for that. You can't sit in a resident's room all night. And we don't want to, and they don't want us to, and the family really doesn't want that either. But we gotta know what's going on behind the door. This is that happy medium where it's like, give you your privacy, personalize the alerting system for each person so it's still person directed, and leave them alone. Come in when you need it, when they need you, when it tells you that you should be there, and then go away when it doesn't. Let them live their lives, give them independence if they have it. If they don't, tighten it up, be there more often.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any others? Freewheeling. Nobody. Oh, we got one.
Yeah.
Can you describe like the size, the look,
Yeah.
where it goes?
Yep. We actually, we're over there in the corner. Don't mind the fact that I don't have my booth because this is gonna be horrible. I left it in my car in the Tampa airport. I literally screwed up so bad. Poor Danielle. Yeah, actually, if you want to. So the devices are actually, we call them lick and stick. They're literally devices that all are battery operated except one, which is a sleep mat that goes under the mattress. And that actually is hidden. Can't see it, you'll never see it. And what it does is it does all your sleep quality, everything from sleep apnea to that type of thing. So this is a simple sleep mat. The good part is we have 4 or 5 different sleep mats because some residents sleep, in a recliner. So we have different ones for that, and ones for air-filled mattresses. But this is one of our main ones, and it can do all the sleep quality, sleep apnea. If they're up, out of bed, in bed, wrestling around, they're ready to get out of bed and move, we can do all that through here. It also is FDA approved for heart rate and respiratory rate. So as long as that resident's in that bed, I'm getting long tail data on heart rate and respiratory rate as well. Simple motion sensor, literally it's this big. Sits up in the corner, that's the only thing they'll see. We put one inside the bathroom usually, facing down, so we can track them in and out of there. And then a very simple battery operated door switch that goes on top of the door that can see when it opens and closes. These are very simple devices, but when you aggregate this into an AI algorithm that's actually taught to look for pattern recognition, you start seeing things coming down the road a lot sooner. If you can see that, hey, look, this resident's been out of bed 15 minutes. They're normally good, that's fine, but now he's not back in bed, he's not moving around, that door hasn't opened. I don't know if he fell, he might have sat down and can't get up, but something weird's going on. That's a simple alert. Or hey, their heart rate and respiratory are high at night now. Their sleep is going down, and they're going to the bathroom a lot more. Probably an infection of some kind. So simple devices like this can feed into a system. AI is great, but it's good at certain things. Pattern recognition. More data in, the better it will be.
Awesome. All right, we'll go with one more.
Yeah, sorry.
And if you used for a couple in an
Yeah,
apartment?
yeah, we just put one on sleep mat on each side. Most people don't get up at the same time at night, right? And they sleep on the same side of the bed. So we'll just attribute any motion to the person that gets up out of that one side. Yeah. They don't have to wear a wearable for it. And there's some potential for some discrepancy, but it rarely ever happens. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you everybody. Thank you, George. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you all.
There
Awesome
are
job.
refreshments over there. I think there's Coke products.